So welcome everybody to our Gale Courses launch training. As you see in the emails, the launch will be for November 1st. And so we brought in John Pellegrino, who's the education skills consultant with Sunday. And I realized they were from out of Michigan.
Yes.
For today. And he's going to be talking you through some of the tools, how we can get stuck through our patrons, signing into the courses, how that sort of thing, how that sort of thing works, how we can help them register. And then once he's done with his part, Anne's going to walk through some of the marketing materials that she's prepared for you, some social media shares, things for your website. Every library today will walk away with 2 posters that we have, and then if you're not here today, we will be sending those posters out to you. But she'll be showing you some of the other marketing things that we have as well. So take it away, John.
Great. So I just wanted to share and echo some of the things that Jamie said. Here's the agenda. We're going to do an overview and talk about some of the frequently asked questions. I'll sort of answer those questions while we go through them, but then that's really the bulk of the session. It's going to be answering those questions. And then choosing a course, registering for a course, completing a course, and then promoting Gale Courses. Now, what I'm going to show you is sort of generic and what some other libraries have done and some of the other things we provide. And that's sort of separate from what Anne is going to share with you. So does that sound okay? Excellent. Has anyone taken an online course, whether it's been Gale Courses or anything else? Okay. Has anyone taken a Gale course? Okay. Well, let's just get started and that'll answer those questions. So one of the things that most people know Gale for is reference content. You probably hear of Gale and you think literary reference and periodical content, things like that. But about 5 years ago, we recognized that there's a shifting focus among public libraries in particular to help with outcomes in the community. So we really recognize that learning lives at the library. And you can see, you've got things like Mango Languages and Learning Express and other, proctoring, things like that. Mission statements talk about lifelong learning. And it's been in the news a bit. Public libraries have grown into e-learning centers. And this particular article actually talks about Monarch Library System, if you're familiar with them, out on the east part of the state. They've had Gale Courses for almost a year now, and they've been highly successful with that. The libraries do have the power to educate. And, we recognized it as a shifting trend, but it's really been the case all along. People talk about the public library being the people's university, and it really is, as you probably know. Before I go further, we've got a pretty small group, so if anyone ever has questions, please don't hesitate to just raise your hand and I'll answer them rather than waiting to the end or anything like that. So what is Gale Courses? So it's a collection of between 365 and 375, depending on what's currently offered in the catalog, courses that are available online. They're instructor-led. They're taught by experts in their field. They're 6 weeks long, and each new class starts each month. And they focus on professional development, technical skills, and personal enrichment. So you might be familiar with some other online courses that are more on demand and more technical in nature. Gale Courses gives you a bit of a wider breadth of types of courses that are available. There's some professional development classes that are tied to the Bureau of Labor Statistics' fastest growing occupations, things like nursing, programming, things like that. You can interact with the instructor, and I'll show you what I mean by that. And at the end, there's a certificate of completion awarded. So if you're a patron and you're working on your resume, you can include that in your portfolio. So again, a lot of repetition here, so forgive me, and I'm not going to read the whole slide, every slide, but for personal enrichment, professional development, there's 6 weeks online courses. You spend about 2 to 4 hours each week with them, with 2 engaging lessons with expert instructors. You're able to interact with your instructors and fellow students, and at the end, there's a certificate of completion. Sort of the nuts and bolts of it. So what courses are available? So this is an FAQ that really is one of the handouts. And this is pretty basic. So I've made it available, and Jamie and Ann, I don't know if you're planning to share this with the libraries, but it's something you certainly can, because for patrons, this is a great FAQ as well. So what courses are available, and this particular sheet tells them how to find out what courses are available. And we're actually going to do this. We're going to browse the catalog and look at the courses. Where can I find course descriptions? All the courses have an in-depth description as well as a syllabus. So you can decide, is this a course I want to take? Oops. How do I enroll in a course? I'll show you that. I've enrolled in a course. Why can't I access any course materials? The courses have specific start dates, and the course material is not available until that date. And we'll dig into that a little bit as well. You don't have to be in there the day that the instructor is there, but content doesn't go up until they put it up, which is every Wednesday at something like 4 a.m. Eastern time. How long are the courses? They're 6 weeks. What if I have a question during a course? The instructor is available via the bulletin board. Any questions so far? Is that what you expected of Gale Courses, or is this something that sound kind of new or different? Okay, we're going to go right in, if that's all right with everyone. I'm going to just go right in, and we're going to kind of go down the list, and see, now I got to figure out how to show it on the screen. So bear with me. There we go. Okay, Ann, can you see the Gale Courses screen?
You bet, John.
Terrific. So this is the live Wisconsin Valley Library System or Service access point. Yeah, okay. There we go. There. So can everyone see this okay? So over here you have the various types of courses that are available. So accounting and finance, business, computer applications, design and composition, healthcare and medical, language and arts, law and legal, personal development, teaching and education, technology, writing and publishing. Some classes are in more than one place, which is kind of nice, because as someone browses the catalog, they can see certain things, find things in business as well as accounting, for example. You can also search for a course. So I put in FRE, and I've got beginning conversational French. So if I decide there's a course that I want, and actually this might be a good time to kind of explore a little bit what's available. Does that sound good? So for accounting and finance, you've got things like Accounting Fundamentals, Accounting Fundamentals 2, and Intermediate QuickBooks. Then you've got a variety of accounting software available as well. And you can see there's about 4 pages of those courses available. And then there's personal finance and investment as well. Then you get into business, there's a wide variety there as well, including nonprofits. grant writing. You can see the accounting fundamentals is in more than one place. You've got a variety of computer applications, a lot of Microsoft content. Things like digital photography. Web design. Healthcare and medical. So you've got things like alternative medicine, EMS and firefighter. There's a variety of healthcare certificates. We'll come back and talk a little bit about that. Those act a little differently than most courses. So I'll show you the basic structure of a course first, then we'll come back and talk about that a little bit. The nice thing about those, though, is if you're a healthcare provider, you can get continuing ed credits for those. Language and arts. So you've got things like creative writing. Here's where the foreign languages are, publishing, law and legal. Personal development has a lot. I'm going to actually hone in on personal enrichment so you can see the variety. You know, things like grammar refresher, introduction to interior design, sign language, on and on. Teaching and education, technology, and writing and publishing. Did anyone see anything that caught their eye in there that I can dig into as a course? Or should I just point at random?
John, let's go into the creative writing.
Well, we heard grant writing, and then we'll go into creative writing as well. I'll show you a little bit of each of those. So writing and publishing, creative writing. So for each course, there's a brief description. You can see the next start date. So there's one that actually starts with tomorrow. And you can sort of see what else is available. But if you want to know more, you click the Learn More. Actually, let's find creative writing. Okay, that'll work. So if I click Learn More, it's going to open up a page that's going to tell me a lot more about this course. So I get a lot of detail here. Author and writing mentor Steve Alcorn and discover what you need to know to write for children, and on and on. And then at the bottom, there's a about the instructor blurb, paragraph. In his case, Steve Alcorn is the published author of a wide range of fiction and nonfiction works. During the past decade, he has helped more than 30,000 students turn their story ideas into reality, on and on and on. That's where you're going to see things like their credentials. You know, there's a lot of these instructors are PhD or master's level college instructors that we've recruited to teach these courses as well. What you're also going to get over on the right-hand side are the details of the course. It's an instructor-led course, 24 hours. It's 6 weeks. And then the start dates. So it's told me a little bit about the course. Haven't really decided yet if it's something I want to take or not. So what I can then do is look at the syllabus. And it tells me week by week, lesson by lesson, what I'm going to learn and what I can expect. So lesson 1, Through the Eyes of a Child, Exploring the World of Children's Literature. Tells me a little bit about that. This helps me decide, is this the course I want to take? Is this the right course? Am I going to learn what I think I'm going to learn? And when am I going to learn? You know, I'm not going to learn it the first week. I might learn it the 4th week, but I need to know everything that builds up to that first. We're going to switch now. We're going to go to the grant writing. While I'm looking at this detail though, you see there's related products here as well. You know, writing young adult fiction, publish and sell your ebooks, on and on. But I'm going to go back to writing and publishing and go to grant writing. Let's go A to Z grant writing. Same detail there. This one has a little bit more detail about the instructor. So I can look at the syllabus like I did in the other course. Then I can go to requirements. Now, these requirements are generally technical requirements. These are not the type of requirements that one would have, say, in a college setting where, you know, to take accounting 2, you need to have passed accounting 1. These are more technical in nature. Occasionally you will see take that course before you take this course. But in general, you know, you have to have internet access, you have to have email, one of the following browsers, Adobe PDF and Microsoft Word. Kind of the bare minimum you need in order to take this course. Some courses do require more, so things like Excel, or there's some fairly advanced web design and some other things. Generally speaking, the library doesn't need to provide that. People that need that, say for their job, generally have access to that kind of tool at their job. So they can take it at work or take it at home, that sort of thing. So in all the years I've been working with Gale Courses, I've never had a library come back to me and say, you know, we don't have XYZ and this patron wanted it. Well, if they wanted it, they probably have access to that particular application. Then you get into this 4th tab, which is student reviews. So one of the things that Gale Courses does at the end of a course is solicit feedback from the students about the platform, about the instructor, and about the course they took. And among other things, we collect that and put the student reviews with the associated course there. You know, this person says, I want to thank you for such an informative and convenient course. I learned so much and have recently accepted a position working with a local nonprofit group as a grant writer, on and on and on. You know, these are real outcomes that really can change people's lives. But at the same time, they're, you know, this feedback is feedback that can help a patron decide this is the right course for me or this is not the right course. You know, as you may have noticed, the catalog is really sort of an e-commerce site, and that's actually not coincidental. Has anyone ever heard of Ed2Go? Okay, so Ed2Go is what Gale Courses started out as. Ed2Go does exactly what I've shown you here, but with academic students. So if I'm at a college and the college doesn't offer a particular course I want to take, I can take it online for a fee, usually about $150, and then I can apply for transfer credit. So that's why it's structured just like a college course. You know, the syllabus is there, the instructor bio is there, all the number of hours, all of that. Now, I'm not going to emphasize this too strongly, but students, patrons that take this could also apply for transfer credit if they know what they're doing. The key is, in my own experience from credit for prior learning, CLEP, they call it in an academic environment, you need to document everything. So one of the things that I do when I take a course is I copy every page, and I'll show you how easy that is to do. The other thing is that helps you when you take the final. It makes it an open book file, right? So we're going to actually go ahead and enroll in a course. And I'm going to actually shift to a different version of this. So I'm going to just kind of randomly pick a course here. And I clicked enroll now. I hope I didn't go too fast there. But once you decide on a course, I've read the detail, the syllabus, the requirements. We talked a little bit about how there's some additional requirements for some courses. You'll see that listed here. When I'm ready, I'm going to click enroll now. Once I've done that, I have to pick a start date. Now, today's the 16th. Tomorrow is the start of a new course. I'm going to start that. It could be, though, that I know I really don't have time to start until after the new year. So I can pick up to 4 months out. And it will remind me, okay, your course is coming up, time to get in. But I'm going to go ahead and register for the session that's starting tomorrow. Click continue enrollment. Now, I already have an account set up. If I don't, it's going to ask for this information. We don't use this information for anything other than the fact that it's that e-commerce site that in an academic setting requires all this because they have to plug a credit card number in. Patrons will never have to plug any of that credit card information or anything in. If a patron is uncomfortable giving their home address, they can use the library's address. That's what some libraries do. Just use the library's address. You're never going to see anything in the mail. So, that is my home address. We're at beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. That's not my birthday, however. I'm actually older than that. So there's my student information. Every time I register for a new course, I have to put my library card number in. Once I've done that for that course, I'll never have to do it again. But every time I sign up for a course, I have to put my library card number in. That's a fake card number, obviously. And I'm going to hit use library card, and it's going to register me for the course. So thank you for your enrollment. Your name, your username, email address, enrollment date, class I enrollment. Any questions so far? Okay, yeah.
Since the patron comes to their library,
They'll be able to track that centrally. So, yes, correct. Yeah, you'll be able to split out the stats knowing the barcodes. I presume everybody's barcode is different enough that it's going to be pretty clear who's who. Accurate or?
Yeah, you hear that?
Can you repeat that one more time for me?
So the question was essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, are you going to be able to track stats at the library level by using the different barcode prefix?
right? If we're wanting to get stats like, hey, library for 5 people, you can scale.
Well, we can plug in to the reporting tool later, but I think because we got the group discount with 2 other systems, we can't narrow it down to a specific library, but we can narrow it down to WVLS. Now, I wonder if there's something that we can do later on to narrow that down to libraries by using a statistical report, sorting, blah, 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 using the barcode numbers, but we haven't dug into that yet, so.
There are ways that you can, as long as there's as long as you can recognize the differences in whose barcode is who.
Yeah. So I think in the beginning it'll be easier for me to click into each one and say, oh, this is a Greenwood, oh, this is a Medford. But as the traffic picks up, we might have to get more sophisticated in finding that information. So yes, for right now.
Any other questions?
You take the same course multiple times.
You can take the same course as many times as you want. One thing though is when your session ends, that content goes away. So that's another reason why I download everything, because I'm not going to get through session 4 and then relearn everything. I'm going to just kind of plug in my answers. That'll make more sense when I show you a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and enter my classroom. Now this course has not begun yet, right? It's telling me there's currently showing no active courses for me. Here's my upcoming course, and there is an orientation. And I do strongly recommend that anyone who's never taken a course go through the orientation, because it really shares with them the mechanics of the course. Once they've gone through a course, it's the same mechanics for every course, so they don't really need to do that again. But there's some how to get started, wait until midnight Pacific time. After the course begins, come to this web address, enter your classroom, log in with your username and password. Then it goes into a deeper course description, the course mechanics, which is pretty lengthy. But if someone's eager to get started, this is a good place to put them, where they can sort of feel like they've gotten started. You can. Yeah, if you have lots of time on your hands, you can sign up for as many as you want. Yeah, there's enough courses where you can sign up for one every single day of the year. You've got all that basic information that was in that intro. I'm gonna switch to yet another sign in as one of my colleagues here. Okay, so this is one of my colleagues, Ann Nagrant, and she's taking a grammar refresher right now. So and she's currently in the course. I unfortunately let my course lapse just before this training. I had access to it Monday, but not today. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what a class actually looks like. So this is the learning path. So the get started is basically that course mechanics thing that we looked at. Once you've done that, you really, again, don't need to do it again. You can kind of skip over that. Every course has a pretest. Now, Anne skipped that. The pretest is not mandatory. There are quizzes with every lesson and a final exam at the end. But the pretest is not mandatory. We're going to go ahead and try it, though. I'm going to randomly pick now, just for time's sake. We didn't do so hot. 4 out of 12. So I definitely need this course, right? But it does give me the answers, so I'm already learning, right? I'm going to return to the learning path. So this platform is actually mobile responsive too. So if I'm on a phone or an iPad or whatever else I happen to have, it's going to look right. So I'm going to go into lesson 1. So each of the lessons, depending on the nature of the course, is a mix of text, video, other exercises that you have to do. So remember I said I like to save the content because it goes away and I can use it for the final, all of that. Here I can print or save. What I usually do is I save it as a PDF. It is. Yeah, the only way you're going to keep access to that content. Yeah. But you have to, the point is you got to capture it during the course. Otherwise you don't have access to it after the fact. So I mentioned there's some other activities, so test your skills. Woohoo. So there's a wide variety of learning styles addressed here. I'm going to skip ahead a bit. So you've got 5 chapters. There's a lesson 1 FAQ. There's an assignment for each lesson. Depending on the course, sometimes the instructor just says, here's your lesson, or here's your assignment, go do it. Take a writing course, for example, I learned kind of the hard way. You have to submit writing samples. Instructor was not easy, I'll tell you that. See here, remember assignments are not graded or evaluated just for practice. In the writing course, they were evaluated. And then at the end of each lesson, there's a quiz. You can take the quiz at the end of each lesson as many times as you want. Take that repeatedly. The final exam you can only take once. So you want to keep that in mind. So I'm going to randomly pick these again because I'm a glutton for punishment. Oof. My friend Ann is not going to be happy that I messed with her. So you get 2 lessons per week. This is very important. You must go into the first 2 lessons within 13 days of starting the course, or you will be dropped from the course. So the first 2 lessons, you got to at least go in and poke around, answer some questions, do something in the first 2 lessons, or you within 13 days, or you will be dropped from the course. So some people have different learning styles. Some people would rather do it all in one sitting. That's okay as long as you've done that, as long as you've gone in and poked around those first 2 lessons, and then you can get to the end where it's all there and do it all at once. Not that I'm speaking from experience or anything like that. So you can see this particular course is up to lesson 10. Lesson 11 will be available tomorrow. Lesson 12 is available on the 19th, which I guess it's Friday. There are additional resources that the instructor can recommend. You don't need these for the course, but they're just that, recommended. There's a course index. And then the final exam, which is available Friday at 2 a.m. So Friday morning. Then you've got about 2 weeks to finish that. So all told, they're 6-week courses. You really have about 8 weeks from start to finish. Any questions about the structure at all? We're going to dig a little deeper into lesson 1 a little bit. The discussion area. So this is an area where the instructor might put the assignment or ask you to submit the assignment, or it could be something as simple as, I don't understand, can you help me understand XYZ? It can be, there's a genealogy course. You can meet other people and you can share ideas, that kind of thing. But in this case, the instructor, put a fairly long introduction, and then there's 25 replies, or actually there's more than 25 replies. You've got all kinds of stories here. And you can see all the replies. If something's inappropriate, it can be reported. It's unlimited. You've got people from all over North America, Australia, other places as well. One of the things, so let me back up and tell you a little bit more about me. I'm from a town called Royal Oak, Michigan. You saw our version of this. I'm actively involved with the Friends of the Library, Royal Oak Public Library. And I was a treasurer for a while, and I would write the checks for all the programming. We sponsored all the programming the library did. And inevitably, I would get voided checks because not enough people signed up for a program, or I'd write a $300 check and 2 people would show up, so that's $150 per participant. What's great about Gale Courses, you can be the only one in town that cares about that particular course and take it. You don't have to, there doesn't have to be 3 or 4 people to show up for the course in order for it to be worthwhile. So you're never going to be the only person in a course on Gale Courses. There's always going to be lots of people from all over. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the question was, do the courses run regardless of how many people sign up? And they do. Yeah. Yeah, every course starts once a month, regardless of the number of people that sign. So then after the final exam, there's an opportunity for the student to give that feedback that we looked at. And again, that feedback is then used to help other people decide whether they want to take a particular course or not. That's here. Any questions? Sure.
I'm wondering how often the courses are updated, how often how relevant they are today, and how quickly they move.
It depends on the course, and it depends on the instructor. Just like any college level course, right? The expectation is that every 3 years or so, they'll get a major overhaul. But an instructor can change it from session to session if they want to. You know, if something becomes more relevant or they get a better idea, they can plug it in. If they've got that discretion. You saw that there's a lot of Microsoft courses, for example. Recently, about a year ago now, we dropped a whole bunch and added a whole bunch because Microsoft stopped supporting certain versions of their software. We dropped all those and added the new ones. That happens too. Good question.
So how does people that are in various courses and we have this flyer up, how do they find out about their library?
Yep. So the question was, if someone comes into the library that's a tourist, for example, and they're interested in taking a course, but their library does not offer it, or they don't know if their library offers it, you'd be amazed. I get phone calls from patrons of public libraries saying, my library doesn't offer it. How can I? So just what you're asking. There's a couple things they can do. Well, there's three things really. Depending on your library's policy on giving visitor cards, either get it in that way, which I know doesn't happen very often, right? But they could go to Ed2Go and take the course and pay for it out of their own pocket. They could go to their library and say, I found out about this Gale Courses. I think we really need it, and then hope for the best. So just to give an example, I work with libraries in Ontario as well. And there's a community called Kitchener who doesn't have this, but the next town called Waterloo does have it. I said, can you get a Waterloo library card? Because they've got it. And I had never heard back from the woman. I don't know what she ended up doing, but it does happen. So, you know, it's, if you use this, but membership has its privileges, right? Your library has it. So if the tourist doesn't have access, they can't get in unless you are willing to give them a card. That's up to you. Yeah. Don't know anything about that. I don't cover Alaska, but that's a good question. You know, as far as, do you have an Alaska connection? Or?
Yeah.
Now, if you've got your library card, you can log in from anywhere in the world. So if you're up in Alaska, you've got you're good to go. Good question. Yes. No. 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 There are a number of systems that don't, but there are systems that do. Monarch, you guys, of course, Northern Waters.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bridges, Milwaukee County. I'm trying to remember. I don't know off the top of my head. I can get you a list though.
I mean, Arrowhead.
Arrowhead, definitely, yeah. But there are some big systems that don't. Well, you may get folks that come in, as I described, trying to get a library card because they know you have it. Other questions before I move on? I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the anomalies that don't necessarily follow the pattern I've shown you. In particular, you've got these healthcare courses that I mentioned. So under healthcare certificate, these function a little differently. And there's a wide variety of them. So I'm going to actually move to a list version. Bless you. So right off the bat, you notice there's a difference. Maybe you notice there's a difference. See what's different? Number of hours. Some of them are 16, some of them are 8, 10, 25, 10, 12, 13. No, that's for the whole course. Yeah, good question. So I'm going to go back to this, and we're going to look at this 8-hour course. Actually, let me go. I'm going to get something that's a little bit more core medical. This 25-hour gerontology. So, certificate in gerontology, program benefits, career opportunities, participants. It's a little bit deeper information about the course. You've got the accreditation information here. That's different. This is the type of information. My wife's a nurse, for example. Gerontology course would be perfect for her. But when she goes to renew her license, she needs to put what accrediting body approved the continuing ed that she took. Here's where they would find that. You've got a variety here. You've got American Nurses Credentialing. You've got California Board of Registered Nurses. National Certification Board for Diabetes Education. Not just nurses, it could be dietitians, it could be a variety of folks. You've got a lot more information about the instructor, a lot more of their background, all the letters behind their name, all of that fun stuff. So what's different here, other than the fact that there are fewer lessons, you can take these in one sitting. You can just go right through them. You don't have to wait for the instructor to post the content every week. These you could go right in today, well, tomorrow, I guess. Finish the whole thing in one sitting.
Those are just for them.
Those are just for the certificate courses. Yep. We've licensed with this other organization, and they make all the content available immediately.
But you can come back.
You could do that too. Yeah, for sure. If you're like my wife, do the next day. I shouldn't say that. She might hear this. It does. Yeah. Yeah. So you don't want to wait till the end to do it. There's some additional information in the requirements as well. Still have the student reviews. But there's a wide variety of these certificate courses. So in my community, we happen to have a major level 1 trauma center hospital. It's our biggest employer in town. And so we went to their nursing educator and said, these courses are available free. The other thing we do is allow anyone who goes to school, works, or lives in the community to get a library card. So we recruited as many of those nurses and other allied health professionals to take these courses because they're free. So that's a good way to reach out in the community. There are some other, let's see if I can find that. Types of certificates. So there's project management fundamentals, for example. There is a project management organization called the Project Management Institute. And passing this gives you that certification as well. It still has the twice a week structure though. The only ones that don't are the healthcare. The other notable thing, you've got things like these LSAT prep. When there's a test prep course like this, of course, you still have to take that exam. It's just a test prep. Taking the course and finishing the course does not give you that credit. They can. I mean, I would hope anyone who's taking the LSAT be smart enough to realize, but nevertheless, you want to be sure. There's some ESL. There's some teacher. And it varies from state to state. You get credit. Again, the biggest thing is, are you able to make the argument that this qualifies? And that's where I would, print the syllabus and all of that sort of thing. Any other questions? Any questions about the content? Anything that I can?
I have a question, John.
Sure.
So let's say that I want to take a personal development class on mindfulness or whatever, and I don't need the certificate. Do I have to do all these assignments and exams and pre-tests and stuff, or can I just take it and check out without doing any of that?
You don't have to do anything. You can. So a good example of that is, let's say I really want to learn you'll want to do the quiz. You have to do the quiz. You just don't have to take the final or get the certificate. You do. No, I don't think you really even do. Because if we look at, yeah, I mean, you can bounce around all you want without taking the quizzes. You just have to wait until the coursework's available. Exactly. What you don't get in that case, though, is the library doesn't get the feedback, because that doesn't come until after someone completes a course. You just have to pop in there and look at some of the material and show up. Yeah.
And then, John, our percentage in order to get the completion certificate is you have to get 80% in the course.
Correct. That's correct. 80% on the final. So you could ace all the quizzes and bomb the final and not pass the course. And you only get to take it once. Final. So again, that's why I save it all and open book it. You can take it as many times as you want. Absolutely. Yep. You can complete a course and take it if you want. If you feel like you learned something, or years later, or whatever. You could do that. Yep. Correct. You would have to wait for the next session to start.
Yeah.
So, and how can you tell when a class was created? Like if some of the information, how do you know it's not updated, or can you tell when it was created?
There really isn't a way to tell when it was created, because it's new. Technically, it's new every time. The instructor's involved, so you can certainly ask the instructor, but It doesn't say necessarily at the bottom, this class was begun X, you know, I don't think. No.
What about the new Microsoft Excel product?
Those, you'd have to know when the product was released. You know, you've got some QuickBooks 2018, for example. Excel 2016. We could probably provide that though. I can find out. I wanted, before we go into promoting Gale Courses, I wanted to give everyone an opportunity to ask, lost a button. Ask about particular courses. We sort of had a couple of conversations going during the break about what about this and what about that. So I just wanted to give everyone an opportunity to ask, what about this? What about that? That would be a good idea. We have Spanish for police and fire, and not at the CERT desk. There, we could do a whole thing on what to do with the CERT desk, I think. Saturday library, things like that. Other questions? So, like hosting events, that kind of thing. There is a hosting an event. I don't know if it's entirely geared toward, I know that it's not, but you could certainly glean things from it. That would be helpful. So you can send them to me and I can forward them up the line. One of the things that we talked about was there is a long ramp up time for a course to get added. So don't be disappointed if it takes a while, I guess. It can take a number of months or even years to find the right instructor, to approve the content of the course, that kind of thing. So it's not going to pop up overnight.
Are able to transfer credits either to UW or to college?
I have not encountered that personally. So other than when I did it myself, but it wasn't Gale Courses. You know, I've clept in college. I went back after not going to school and had a bunch of seminars I'd attended and things like that. The key is documentation. You know, that syllabus, the number of credit hours, the more information you've got for that person that's going to make that decision, the better. The more you can show them who the instructor was, that can. Yes.
So even if you get going to take a course like AAA, and you get to I didn't go to Stevie's Point, I should actually go to Stevie's Point and what classes you accept and have that in documentation that way, because that way you will get a transfer.
Right.
Otherwise,
It's
you
not
just
gonna
get
be a
a
chance.
chance. Yeah.
However, I have to back up because I didn't have a course. The documentation that I had, everything that I did, I got 9. So
Yeah, the key is showing learning expectations and outcomes, the syllabus, you know, that kind of thing. Is the bottom line is they're looking to make parallels. Okay, that's just like this course and this course, and okay, that counts. It's important to note, though, it's not incumbent upon the library to provide that. It's incumbent upon the student. That's the key there. Whereas, sure.
I just don't want to like get their hopes up.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's really an opportunity to have the same conversation we've been having about what it takes to collect. And you know, in the program I went through, they didn't do a matchup. They just said, okay, there's X amount of learning that you went through and count that as credit. It was a little bit of a different accelerated degree program, but so the onus is on them to understand what it takes to get that. The questions?
When it says 24 colors, is that equivalent for $100?
That I would have.
So, yeah, I can't speak for Wisconsin at all, but yeah, and there again, the syllabus shows that, you know, 1 hour was spent doing this, 1 hour was spent doing that. I work with a total of 5 states and 1 province. One of the states I work with is Indiana, and they recognize the exact number of hours of LEUs for the Gale courses. But they also recognize.
Check that out, but the DPI have a
Say in Indiana, they also count webinars and seminars like this. Like you would get 2 hours of LEU for attending this, which I'm not suggesting that's going to happen.
yes.
Yeah. Other questions about content? Is there this? I mean, I encourage you to get in and poke around. I don't know when you'll have access to this, but certainly I encourage you to poke around, and you can do searches up here. That's probably the best way to find what you're looking for. The question came up about Common Core. I just started typing Common Core standards for English language arts K through 5. And we talked a little bit on the break about homeschooling. And that's there as well. All right.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about that.
These slides I'm skipping are invariably in a demonstration like this. My internet doesn't work or something, so I showed you this live, so we won't spend a lot of time on it. Oh, this is what the certificate looks like. Of course, it would say Wisconsin Valley, Royal Oak Public Library. This is another document I would give to that person making that decision, though. Especially completed the course, it's the name, completion date, and the number of hours training. So I do want to talk about some ways other libraries have promoted Gale courses. And I know you've got a whole slew of ideas that you're going to share. I just want to put this out there to get people thinking about how, ways that Gale courses can be promoted. So in this case, this comes from a blog that we have on our website, a couple years old, but 2 years old, but Greene County Public Library in Ohio has Gale courses. They have Gale courses posted on their website under digital collections instead of research. When people think of Gale, a lot of times it's automatically they think research. That's where it goes. It's kind of not where it belongs. It's more, digital collections. The library puts Gale courses in their online catalog. Does the whole system share a catalog, or does each library share it? So We do provide MARC records for each course that can go in the catalog. So if somebody searches the catalog for homeschooling, looked up, they'll see whatever books are available through the system on homeschooling, but they'll also see that course and they'll be able to click right to it. In this case, blog posts written for the news section of the website. You can also talk about individual courses like technology and genealogy that are available on the page right on your website. Some libraries have gone so far as to make videos that are specific to their library or their system. And social media. We're really supporting social media for this because you have to go online to use it. So that's sort of the perfect audience. One of the things we have available is this template, the news release template. You just plug in the appropriate things, name of library. I'll defer to Anne as to how she wants each library to handle that, or if the system's going to handle it as a whole. But certainly in some cases, it wouldn't be harmful for an individual library to say it's available through XYZ library, brought to us by the system. Something like that. Yeah, so perfect. Here's an example. This is actually another library in Wisconsin. Database icons. Oops. Resource guide. This is available as a one sheet that you can print and make available in the library. It's similar to what I shared. There is a tutorial video that you can put on your website if you want. Generic, doesn't say Wisconsin Valley or anything like that, but it does walk folks through a lot of the things we walk through today, signing up for a course, choosing a course, that kind of thing. The banners. So we've got a variety of electronic banners that you can use on your website. Bookmarks that you can actually load your logo on. There's an e-newsletter template. So if you have a newsletter that you send out to your patrons, you can plug it in there as well. And you can use the press release that way too, but this is written a little bit more newsletter-ish. We've got a whole variety of social media posts that are written. All you need to do is plug the right link in and put that out on whatever social media that you're using. So here's an example. This is from Twitter. I just went to Twitter, put in Gale Courses, got a whole variety of different libraries promoting Gale Courses. You can certainly do that as well. Just go to Twitter or whatever social media, put Gale Courses in, you'll see all kinds of ideas. The other thing that's kind of neat is the storytelling template. So some libraries have embraced this for a variety of things, not just Gale Courses. But this gives you the tool to sit down with a patron. I know through my work with the Friends of the Library, there are certain families or individuals that they're always at the library. You can always count on them to come to the book sale. You can always count on them to come for programming or whatever. Those are the type of people I personally would hone in on because they're comfortable talking about their library experience. But they're advocates for the library, right? But this gives you the opportunity and kind of gives you a script to use to interview them. And then that's something you can put in your newsletter, make available to other patrons. And then, of course, the anecdotal feedback you get through the feedback part of the course. And I think I'm ahead of schedule. So anybody else has any questions at all or wants to look up a course or anything?
Yeah, anything that we share will be.
Other questions at all? Well, I certainly appreciate the opportunity to present Gale Courses to you all. I hope this was meaningful and helpful. And I know personally, Gale Courses it can be fun. It can be work, obviously. I actually used it as a test to see if I should go for my MLIS online, and decided I won't be doing that because I am a much better learner face-to-face. But nevertheless, it's a great environment for a lot of people. The structure, being every 6 weeks long, and every two lessons per week, a lot of people really that resonates with a lot of people. So, been very successful. Yes.
I'm just curious about the process of finding and hiring instructors on your end.
Sure.
If patrons ask for these instructors
Sure.
or like instructor qualifiers,
Right.
what does it mean to be a Gale instructor?
So you may know that Gale is part of Cengage Learning. Cengage Learning is one of the major textbook publishers. So my colleagues that work with academic institutions selling textbooks, part of their job is to recruit instructors to write textbooks. It's just part and parcel of their job description is, recruit 2 people every year, whatever. I don't know what the standard is, but recruit an expert to write a textbook. So they tap from that same pool of experts to get folks that are willing to do this. So they come from all over North America. We were at a conference in Toronto, of all places, where an instructor came to our booth and started asking us questions. And of course, a bunch of us reps started asking her questions. And we're like, well, all the questions you were asking, how often do you update it? And what does it take to update it? And all that kind of stuff. So really, it's the same way we recruit professors to write textbooks. We find an expert in that field, get them to submit syllabus, and a lot of them are teaching these same courses online already. So it's really easy for them to adapt. That's right, in the library, exactly. Yes. They do not. The courses are self-contained. The only time they'll need something extra is if it's a particular photography course, for example. They would obviously need a camera. Or a guitar course. You can't learn to play guitar without a guitar, right? So again, it's not incumbent upon the library to provide those, though more and more libraries are lending things like cameras, guitars, whatever else. But just like with the courses that are high-end programming, software products, it's not incumbent upon the library to provide that. There is one course in particular that we do provide the software, and that's a keyboarding course. It's just, I don't know why they included it, but they did, so it's helpful. Because most people wouldn't even know where to start to look for a keyboarding software package. Good question. Yes.
Have you found that people with even very basic computer skills have been able to log in, follow along, and take the course? What level would you say someone has to be at?
They have to be comfortable enough to be able to get back in with their email address, that sort of thing. The Pew Foundation did a study about online learning. Oh gosh, it's probably almost 3 years ago now. You may have seen it. And there's a bell-shaped curve, right? So you've got people on the one extreme who live online and everything's tech, and if it's not online, they're never going to get there. It's about 15% when they did this study. To me, that's the kind of user that's going to use something like Lynda, where it's tech heavy and they're tech heavy, and that's where they live. The other end of the spectrum, though, was another 15% that are never going to learn online. They either don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the equipment to do it. So you've got about 30% that are on the outlier, on the edges. That 70% in the middle is generally going to be comfortable, and you know, the way it's structured benefits somebody who maybe isn't super computer savvy, but it helps them learn a little bit more about logging into an environment like this. What we usually do at my library is when somebody comes in for those one-on-one sessions or those group sessions that teaching them, then we promote Gale Courses. Now that you know how to use a mouse and use the internet, here's something you can do with it rather than just shop. Right, and learn another skill.
Yeah, that's
Right.
piggybacking on.
Yep. Yep. The other
Some basic knowledge. Like,
definitely
you can't
helpful.
have someone come in and say, I have no idea.
Right.
I've never used a mouse. They
Yeah.
have to get.
They have to have some level of comfort for sure.
An email
And an
address.
email address.
Okay.
That's right. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think no, you know what, I'm thinking of another product of ours. We have another product that's geared toward people who are going through a job change, and it's the same kind of situation. So we actually put a link in there to create a Gmail account. Because a lot of those people just didn't have email addresses. So yeah, I wouldn't expect my mother to. Of course, I would be doing it, and she would be sitting next to me. Other questions at all?
How long are you connected with this service?
The subscription is for a year.
That's right.
So it would be from November until November for a year
That's right.
right now.
Right, October. I think it goes through. Yeah, I think it's through the next November. So, I fully anticipate you'll renew next year. However, question does come up from time to time. What if you don't? What happens to those students? They can finish that course. So if, again, I fully anticipate you'll keep it perpetuity, but
I think one thing we look at is
absolutely.
We're finding that it's not being used as much.
Understood. Right. Right. But rest assured, if someone signs up for a course on October 17th or November 15th and your subscription goes through November 30th, they're still okay in their course. Yeah.
We want to make it effective.
I can tell you that another system here in Wisconsin picked this up in, I think, December, and they've had phenomenal usage, just phenomenal usage. That's Monarch. and I think Anne worked with them a little bit to get some of the materials they've been using. So hopefully you'll have even better success.
I think the key is having people know about it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know we have that.
Right.
Like, do you have anything like is geared toward like tech or apprenticeship type kinds of things, or is it more
For cooking or for,
basically like all the classes?
was there a particular area of learning you had in mind though? Or?
No, I just was kind of thinking like trying to working or like
No, I don't
meeting
think so.
or anything in those kinds of areas. Not really.
No, let's, oops. Yeah, that's the, eBay too.
I was just curious because I thought
Sure.
would they would if there's interest would
Sure, we are open to lots, any suggestions. Again, it can take some time for a course like that to get online. But certainly we're definitely open to suggestion. Yeah, for sure. In fact, I mentioned how this is sister product to Ed2Go. And when we brought this online, we looked for courses that were more geared toward public libraries and patrons in public libraries. So, you know, you wouldn't expect to start your own arts and crafts business at a college, right? So, just as an example. Sure. Questions? Yeah, there's no age limit. Certainly, certain subjects you're probably not going to see teenagers latching on to, but others you might. You know, there's guitar, for example. But we did a launch at Farmington Hills Public Library, actually, where Gale's headquartered, and we were thrilled when some high school girls came in and said, "Oh, I'm going to take this course and this course and this course over the summer, get ahead." So certainly nothing holding them back from it. Again, it's going to depend on the subject, I think. But certainly it's open to anyone, for sure. I mean, we look at it as a lifelong learning tool, but there's no, you know, if a child is not like my child and wants to learn all summer, they certainly can. Other questions at all? Well, I certainly appreciate everyone's time this morning, and again, I hope you have great success with Gale Courses. I hope you take some yourselves. There's a lot of courses in here that a lot of library folks have taken, and it's helped them do their job as well. So it's there, use it. Thank you.
Okay, so it looks like in the virtual world, everybody's signing back on here too. Good. So is John still in the room?
Yes.
Okay, hey John.
Morning, how are you?
Great. So first things first, I wanted to note that the link is live, and let's show you how to get there. I'm going to close all these control things. Okay, so if you can see my screen, you'll see that I created a web page that has everything and anything Gale Courses on it. So to find that, you go to Member Services and go down to Gale Courses. And that's on there right now. So it looks like a lot of material, but I promise you it'll make sense as we go through. Okay, so like I said, everything that we've created, everything that Gale has created is on here or linked to this page. So, and that includes social media, flyers, enrollment videos, everything is here. This is your one-stop shop, okay? And we made this handy dandy banner here too. So to get to Gale Courses, here's a direct link right here in the middle under for your website. And here's the landing page that you've been seeing with John yet this morning. But if we go back, you can click right on this banner that I made and you're on the landing page again. So there's multiple ways to get there, okay? So to start things off, we're gonna go through these 3 columns, okay? And I want you guys to, well, Rachel, I want you to interrupt me if there's questions along the way. Don't save your questions till the end. Let's get them all out in the open. So I made a training column. I should say Jamie and I made a training column. We made a column for products that should be on your website, and then a marketing materials area. Below we have some samples of social media shares that we made for you too as well. Before we dive into these, your contacts for Gale Courses are myself, Ann Hamlin, Rachel Metzler. Rachel, if you can wave at the group and correct me if I said your last name wrong. And then Jamie.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, good. And then Jamie as well. As you guys know, I'm going to be going on maternity leave. I don't know if you can see this, but early December I'll be out. So we're working together as a Fearsome 3 team group. So let's get started. Looking at the training materials area, if you have very little time to share information with your staff, there's 3 pieces of information that you should share with them, at the very least. First, you know, you guys got the tour with John, but there's the Gale Courses infographic that explains exactly what Gale Courses is, right? The over 375 online courses, new classes start each month, classes are 6 week long. So that's the nuts and bolts of what Gale Courses is, because we want every person working in the library to know what Gale Courses is if somebody walks up to them and asks, what is Gale Courses? The second thing we have on here is a WVLS specific Gale Courses poster. And these are the posters that you'll be leaving with today. So you get 2 of these per library. It's just a reiteration of that same information, but on it, it says where they can get started in looking at the catalog, right? At the course catalog, and then also in the library resources catalog, they can find it. And again, it has those talking points broken down. So 6 week courses, interactive learning, there's a completion certificate, and it's taught by experts. We just heard all this from John, so this should be familiar. And then the third piece is actually the patron enrollment how-to video. So should we give it a shot and watch it? It's only 1 minute long, and this will, you know, John walked us through the whole process, but this is a good tutorial to refresh yourself for enrolling in a course. And then also, if you are busy at the desk and someone walks up to you and says, I don't know how to enroll in a course, you can have this video bookmarked, or this page bookmarked on your staff computer, so you can play this video for them while you finish checking out books for someone else, right? So Jamie, do you think we could watch this right now?
I think so.
Okay, let's see if it works. If it doesn't, you can watch it on your own time. Can you see this okay? It's 1 minute long. guys able to see that okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, I mean, that's pretty, I like the music. It's really upbeat and happy. But that was basically a sprint through John's presentation just now. Okay, so those 3 pieces of information to get everybody off to the races. That and that knowing that the link is live right now, you and your staff can pop in and start looking at courses right away today, so that you're familiar when people walk up to the desk, they have questions. You've enrolled for a course, so you know loosely how to go about that. Let's just finish going through these other documents here. So I made a simple enrollment handout. So 7 steps to enrolling. And you can print these out. They look great in black and white, but they also look good in color too. So you can print these off in quarter sheets and put them next to your public computers. So both for your staff, yourself, and your library users if they need a little bit of extra help enrolling in the courses. Of course, Gale Courses has their own too, and John shared his WVLS specific version of this with us today, so we'll add that to the website. I also created a Gale Courses FAQ, so John, I'll combine John's FAQs or frequently asked questions into this, but questions on here are where can I find a list of Gale Courses, and here's the link to our website. Is my personal information secure? Yes. One curious thing that I learned is the library card is the most important piece. And if people, you know, you always get people coming up to this saying, I'm not sharing my birthday, or I don't want to give you my driver's license, or whatever it is. You can have the library user use the library's phone and address if they're not comfortable sharing their own information, and it'll still go through. So other things like, I forgot my student account password, can you help me? Just like there is with email, there's a forgot my password spot right on Gale Courses, which is lovely. So all these kinds of questions are in the frequently asked questions handout there that you can print off and have right at your desk again. Below here, I have a link to the Gale Courses marketing products, and we'll get to that in a second here. Okay, so if those things are making sense, I'll just refer you guys to the training materials area for passing along information for to your staff and your coworkers, in addition to this video recording. This video recording is also going to appear under that same column. Of course, I'll edit it so it doesn't have all the breaks and stuff in there, but we'll edit down the video so it's a nice little package that you guys can refer to on the training materials column. Any questions on that area? Rachel, did you see any go through in the chat area?
Nope, we're good.
Cool. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about marketing or promoting or publicizing this. John just went through a whole list of ways to do it. The first thing I'm going to start with is your website. Whether you love your website or you're not so happy with your website, Gale Courses needs to be on there, and I can help you do that. Whether you manage your website or somebody else does, or you're already on a website that's assisted by myself and WVLS and Indian Head staff members, IFLS staff members, I can help you get there. So the number one thing that I want to stress is wherever Gale Courses appears on your website, it needs to be clickable. And when I say that, I can click on this banner on my screen and it'll bring me right to the WVLS Gale Courses landing page. You'll see our little logo there, our nice color of blue, and then people are ready to get started. Okay?
Which is live right now.
It is, again, live. So you guys can play with it on your phones right now, or wait till you get back to the library. It's really exciting. But before we get too far ahead in talking about websites, I'm going to show you an example so we don't have to go through these resources one by one. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So Thorpe is actually building a website with us right now. This is a draft of their new website. And you can see that they have a slider here that is advertising Gale Courses, and they have a click here button. So if I click here, it again brings me to that landing page. They also have a blurb at the bottom of their page, just like they have a digital library and Badger link blurb. And it says, launching November 1st, professional and personal enrichment online courses taught by experts in their field 12 times per year. Maybe that language isn't as sexy as you'd like it, but you can always change that. But they do have this information on their homepage in two places, in their sliders and then also down in their blurbs. Now, if I click on this image here, and you'll see that it's the same information with the same kind of style, again, it's going to bring me to that landing page where it has the information on how to enroll. And also, if I click on the text, it'll take me to that landing page. Another place that you can have Gale Courses is under Services or Resources, whatever you want to call it. I have a button to get to Gale Courses, and when I click on it, it brings me to their landing page, right? I know that many libraries link to the WVLS collections and database pages, but I would really promote adding the Gale Courses information to your website instead of having to have the library user bounce to a couple websites just to get Gale Courses when all they need to do is one click once they're on your website. And another way to speed up that process is to have your library website bookmarked to the pages that start up when they click on the internet. So some places like Merrill and I believe Rhinelander, when they click on the internet icon on public access stations, it brings up their library website. Well, you can also bookmark this landing page by going to the star here and adding to your bookmarks, and then going to your internet settings. And again, I can help you with this. And in your internet settings, there's a spot where you can say, I want these two pages to open up when I click on the internet. I want the library homepage and the Gale Courses landing page. Or maybe the library homepage is enough for you because you have Gale Courses promoted predominantly on there, just like Thorpe does. Or will when their website goes live, right? Okay. So now I think, yeah.
So every library, it will all go to that same landing page, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's only one link to get there, so that's good. Okay, so let's just review this column here. So like I said, there's the direct link to Gale Courses. You want to put a banner of some kind on your website, and I have designed those in a couple places. So here's the banner that you can embed. I can help you with that. Here's the Gale Courses button that's provided by Gale Courses that you can put on your resources page. And they have lovely pre-made marketing materials on their website, excuse me. Let's go back once again. Here's the Gale Courses blurb that I made that you can put on your website homepage or wherever you would like. And again, I can resize that to fit what you need or what your web person needs. I also have the patron enrollment how-to video. Maybe Thorpe wants to put that video right here. Or maybe Thorpe wants their own Gale Courses page and to put the Gale Courses information right next to the enrollment video. What else? Again, we have the step-by-step handout from Gale Courses and also the WVLS enrollment handout that you can link to your website. So just a lot of information in different ways that you can go. But I would stress that, when you have Gale Courses on your website, you want to have the information as simple as possible. So like this banner says, it's professional and personal enrichment. There's over 375 online classes. It's free with your library card. Click here. I feel like that, the more simple the information, the better, right? Because if the library user has questions, they're going to come to you or the person at your front desk, or they're going to call your phone number, right? So, any questions there? We have our website workshop day in Thorpe on Thursday. So I'm going to be showing people how to add this information to their website that day, I bet. If I haven't done it already for them, right? Okay, so enough about websites. I want to talk about reaching out to your community and letting your community know in other ways that you have Gale courses now, right? So today you're leaving with 2 of those posters. Can you guys hold one up to the camera? I haven't gotten the chance to see one yet.
Oh, I'll do it.
Really cool. Are they in a pile at the back, or does everybody see them already? Hey, that looks nice. Look at that blue. Cool. Thanks, Jamie. Sorry for the chore. Okay, so we're used to hanging up posters in the library. We're used to maybe placing flyers around the community, right? Maybe we also put half sheets at the desk of that same flyer, or quarter sheets. You know, you can, when you go to print, then you can print four pages to a sheet. That's a way to do it. But now I want you guys to think outside the box. So most of us have social media accounts. Social media shares work really well with Facebook and Twitter. So I don't know what you're using. I know Granton is on Instagram, I think. Is that right, Kay, if you're here? Anywho's, so I want to make your life as easy as possible. Jamie and I are going to be sending emails to you of things that you can share. We're not going to dump all of this on you at one time, right? So we'll send out maybe once a month, a couple times a month, things that you guys can share out right away, that you don't have to waste any of your time thinking about, but you can adapt and share if you like, or you can just share it directly out on top of the flyers, right? So here's an example. I made 4 social media shares. This one hopefully implies that there's a lot of health courses. So the text here are actually courses that you can take. So mindfulness, nutrition, healthy aging, holistic and integrative health, lose weight and keep it off, meditation, natural health and healing. So this graphic, you can right click or click download or save image as, and I just saved that right to my desktop. I'll open up Facebook. I just want to show you how relatively easy this is, or can be, if you want to just use what we send you, right? So I saved it to my desktop. On Facebook, I'm going to click share a photo. I'm going to upload the photo from my desktop. Social media share. Here we go. Open her up. And I've sized it so that it looks nice when you share it on Facebook, right? So here's my test post. I'm saying fun stuff, right? Of course, I'm going to delete this after I share it, Jamie, I promise. But I want you to see how it looks when it posts. If you guys can see my screen, okay. So look at that. It looks really nice. It's appropriately sized, right? And then all you have to do is add a text, or not even. You don't even have to add anything. I'm just going to quickly delete that. But that was just an example of how you can take something that we've made for you and share it right away. And there's a couple other ones. And I'm going to be making some new ones, and you'll see that the blurb that was on the Thorpe website can actually be shared on social media as well. So is that making sense to you guys? I hope that's coming across there. On the right-hand side of the screen is where we're going to house the marketing materials. So you'll see a spot for the social media shares. And I also want to point out that I made all of these in Canva, so you can actually customize it. I have a link both for just using the image as it is, or clicking Customize Me where you can add the logo of your library. See, I put a prompt there, add your logo and contact information. So maybe Gilman or whoever wants to add their information here. And then save it and download this as a PNG and share it. Or in Canva, you can see that there's a share button. Find the social word, you click Facebook and you hit share now. Bada boom, bada bing, it's done. So plenty of ways to use that. I also created a flyer for each of your libraries that has your library's logo on it if I had your logo. So let's take a look at Crandon. You'll see that it's the WVLS poster, but on the bottom it has the Crandon logo here. It says brought to you by the Crandon Public Library and Wisconsin Library Service. And then, you're gonna love me for this, I put your phone number on there so they can call you and ask questions. So they don't get, you know, Jamie or myself and they say, who are you? I don't know who you are. They're gonna actually get their librarian to answer their question. I just think that's a nice touch, right? And we'll click through a couple more so you can see them. So here's Anago. Again, it's the normal poster up top, and then the Anago Public Library logo and contact information. Who else do we have? Does anybody in the crowd there want to see their own poster?
Colby.
Colby. I don't think I had the logo for Colby, but I got them all down, so then I can plug in your logo if you send it to me. That's a good example, Vicki. Thanks for asking. Anything that I make on the website, if you want it customized to your library, you can send me an email and I'll do that. No big deal. I think Medford, I had your logo. Yep, there's the Medford logo. And then also, wording is important. How do you want your name to appear on your poster? So I put Simic Memorial Library and then contact the Medford Library because with quite a few of our libraries, they have different names. So another example is Three Lakes, because I know that Erica Brewster refers to her library as the Demmer Library. So where's Three Lakes? Here's Three Lakes. On the Three Lakes one, I put brought to you by the Demmer Memorial Library. Contact the Demmer Library in Three Lakes. So it's really your preference and what you want on your poster. So take a look at your poster and email me if you need any changes. Otherwise, I'm going to print one off in full color on some nice thick paper and send it your way. Especially if you're not there in person, I'm going to be sending your official poster with your library specific poster. Hopefully by the end of this week, I'll get those in the courier. So let's keep taking a tour over here on the right-hand side. Again, there's all the flyers you could ever hope for, including the Gale Courses infographic that we just saw, the WVLS specific flyer that we just saw. What else is it? And then Gale Courses marketing products that they created. I also have a place where I have been creating the sliders that you saw on the Thorpe homepage here. Come on, baby. So there's Gale Courses. I saved that to this area. Here's a different size. It has a similar design. You'll notice they all have the same color scheme and the major branding on the left side. And then, of course, I linked Gale Course marketing products because, as John showed you, they also have images. Furthest down on the right is writing pieces. So Jamie actually put together, using the Gale Courses marketing tools, she created a Word document and tweaked the language a little bit so that you can plug in your library information. I think that these should all include a photo, so maybe a photo of your library or a blurb from the website. When I say blurb, maybe this one. So Gale Courses image. You could throw that in there nice and easy. I suppose I should enable it. So I just want you to see how customizable this is for your library when you send all that out. This is just a Word document that you can open up and put whatever you like in there. And then also, so that's a press release that you would send to your newspaper, maybe put that in your library, a newsletter, maybe send it through your Friends of the Library newsletter or on your website as a blog piece. Jamie also made a sample newsletter piece, just like Jamie sends out Monday mentions or the WVLS newsletter, monthly newsletter. You can just use this a little bit more in-depth content and put it there too. Maybe you use this content to create a Gale Courses specific page on your library website. It's all up to you.
Yeah, feel free to customize it however you want, but in the press release, there's bracketed and letters in all caps where it says insert your library and your phone number. So you can really just take that document, put it on your library letterhead, add the date, add the city where it says, so you don't want to leave the city of Wisconsin, you want to add your city. And then at the bottom, there should be an area where it says for more information, your name, phone number, and then you're good to go. In fact, that's your, or however you do it.
Right. Okay. Now I want to talk about some fun ways that you can maybe explore promoting your the Gale Courses product, right? So yes, you can have the simple enrollment forms at the desk. You can have the flyers on the door coming into the library. But what about taking this information, maybe WVLS Gale Courses flyer and the link to Gale Courses, and sending that to your library board, maybe your city council with a press release in there, right? Maybe if you collect a list of your teachers' emails, you can send that information there. Put it on social media, or you could print out one of these pieces and put it in the bathrooms facing the toilet, right? So everybody's going to see that when they're using the bathroom. Of course, you might want to put a new one in there every once in a while. In addition to your book blurbs that you hopefully are using there.
And you wrote some of the Facebook posts that I created for our page.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So Jamie is a wizard, and
you go ahead. Yeah. You'll show the scheduled under the scheduled ones too.
Yes. Didn't you already have one up though?
I did. You scroll down. Yep, that one.
So I'm going to zoom in here. So Jamie currently is making social media posts promoting the launch of Gale Courses. So you can
November.
Yeah, it's for November 1st. So what Jamie did is she wanted to do a countdown series. So 20 days until the launch of Gale Courses. Well, she took a picture of a $20 bill, and then she found a course that was related to money management, right? And then she put that all together. So not only is it a countdown to the launch on November 1st, but it gives information on what types of courses are going to be available and a fun image. So now let's see what other ones are going to be popping up.
Look at this. The Milwaukee Brewers, leading up to opening day, Mary's nodding her head. So leading 100 days up to their opening day, they do this on their website where they encourage fans to submit a photo. So they might have like someone that shaves, like maybe someone wearing I can't even remember, a jersey or something. Yeah, a jersey, like counting down, and then those people that get chosen and posted that day get submitted to win tickets to opening day. So we don't have that many fans on our we have like 1 million fans, so we don't have that many. So I didn't think that was realistic. If you do have a good following, that could be something you could do. The 5 days. That could be something really fun where you encourage your fans to submit a photo, and I don't know what they get, maybe something, a book bag or something. So you could do something really fun, like that in your library. So like this one is 15 days, you can't see it as well, but dog bones for how to start a pet sitting business. And then I think we have 10, and these are all scheduled already under our Facebook.
Yeah, so this is 10 with, Jamie, are these store-bought veggies or from your garden?
Probably store-bought and from the,
Yeah. So this one's about healthy eating and emotional and, it's Gale Courses is going live in 10 days. All you need is your library cards. your card, you know.
You can use something like this, or you can encourage the fan, like your fans to submit something, you know, which
Yeah.
is fun too. So, but this is just
Really, oh, this is a great one. I love this one, Jamie. So, oh, I should have been clicking on them the whole time so you can see an actual preview. All right, I gotta flip back and forth so you can guys see them the best. Okay, so this is want to learn how to play music. You can with Music Made Easy, a free online Gale Courses. Gale course. So dust off that piano. This Gale course and many more go live at WVLS member libraries in 3 days, and then she has the link to the landing page. So just really cool stuff. But I don't want to overload you guys because it's our job to give you things that you can take and use right away. So yes, there's a lot on here, but we're going to be sending you emails that have the subject line is going to say Gale Courses, and then we'll say share this on your Facebook or put this in your toilets or or
would it be helpful to put stuff in Monday's mentions? Are a lot of you reading that? Yes.
Yeah, if they get too long, when you go in person there and you have a patron come in and it gets long.
Right, but we archive them on the website too.
yeah, it's just another place to find it. So Monday mentions on this web page, and emails from Jerry. I'm tired. Okay, or emails from Jamie or myself or Rachel. But I just want to reiterate that if you want something made for this, I'll make it for you. Because chances are it's probably an awesome idea that other people would appreciate as well. Yep. So, and my final thoughts here before we do more questions or take a look around these resources a little bit more is, as we progress through our subscription, I'm going to be sending you new materials. So not only am I going to be sending you new social media shares and those kind of things, but also tools on how you can reach out to specific populations in your community to get them interested in the courses. So like John was showing you, there's health education certificates, right? So maybe we make a flyer that's specifically for the health providers in your community, right? Or maybe the next one could be to high school teachers who want to learn more about the products that we offer for teachers, right? Or homeschoolers too. Those are still handy there too. Maybe the next group could be nonprofits in your community, because there's all kinds of stuff about nonprofits, financial stuff, public speaking. There's plenty of groups that could benefit from that. So maybe sharing that with your Chamber of Commerce or your closest Chamber of Commerce. So I hope that, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just want to piggyback on what she's saying in that, you know, this might seem overwhelming, you know, the training today and then looking at all this stuff right now. So yeah, the launch goes live on November 1st, but you know, as we said, this is going to be available for the next year, and we want them using it, and we want them using it so much that we can fund it, or we feel it's worth to fund another year for years to come. So don't feel like you have to do everything in the next 2 weeks. Like that's not realistic, and that's not a good game plan. You know, so what we're doing today is providing you with some tools that you can use, you know, throughout the year. And this is it's not just a one and done that we're looking at, especially on our part. You know, we're going to be, like Ann said, sending reminders. Here's something you can use. Okay, maybe here's a flyer that you want to hand out for your school. So it's going to be an ongoing thing that we don't want people to like get excited about it and use it a lot in the first 2 months and then forget about it. So yeah.
And like Erica mentioned earlier, I'm going to be doing my best to run usage reports and breaking down who is accessing from where. I'm not going into any library user names, but I think it'd be a nice tool to give you an update every once in a while saying, hey, there's 10 people from Colby using this, or whatever number, you know. So before we go, I want to bring up a handout, or sorry, before we move on to questions or whatever you guys would like to talk about, I want to take a look at the handout that you guys, that should be familiar. I sent this out, handed it out in a few places, describing, or outlining, I should say, statistics from other systems and the performance of their Gale Courses subscription. So Arrowhead Library System, although there's 7 libraries, they're a mixture of rural and urban libraries. Their population is comparable to ours. I believe ours is, no, it's not. I'm a liar. So our population with 25 rural and urban libraries is 282,000 in 7 counties. But just from February 1st through May, they had 242 class enrollments, with an average of 10.5 hours spent per course by their library users. And you can read the rest of the information here. I'll zoom it out so you can see more. But we have information from Bridges and also Monarch in there. But you can, so I just want to illustrate that, you know, I think to break even on our purchase price in 1 year, we would need 200 and whatever, it's around 200 to pay $150 per course for our person if we're using the Ed2Go cost dollar amount. But Arrowhead had 242 announcements in February, in like a quarter of their year. So to me, the proof is kind of in the pudding down there. So now I want to see how successful it is in our community, right? So you'll get information on statistics from myself. Anybody have any questions? Is there anything you want to take a look at again?
Is there a way to get a listing of all 375 courses without clicking all over the place?
Yeah, I have one, but John, you probably have a more current one.
I'll see what I have, yeah.
If we could have that somewhat in a poster or something that we could enlarge or do something with.
Well, let me take you back to that flyer that I just showed you. Not that one.
Wall poster.
Hang on. So if I take you back to the resource I just shared with you, on the back side I have a sample of course listings on there that would be easy to turn into something. So I think it's about, I condensed something, so I put all of the course, the test preps together in one line. Introduction to Biology and Chemistry, those are 2 different courses. Human Anatomy and Physiology, 1 and 2. So I put a nice selection on here for you, Heidi.
Okay.
So I can make something like that and put it on the Gale Courses here. Yeah. I'm going to write that down. Let me see if we can just go to the landing page here and view all courses. John, is there a button to view all the courses?
There's not on that page, but on Gale.com there is. But I'll send you the link, but now search for Gale Courses up at the top. Let's scroll to the bottom.
So here's the most recent list. So if we don't want it in an Excel, I can link this Excel file really easy to our page. Yeah, so looking at the 2 pieces here, I think that this flyer is a little bit more sexy than.
Scare people away if you print that.
Ooh. But yeah, so we can make something that looks a little bit more sassy.
Yeah, instead of the 375 courses, it's like, here are some subjects and here are examples of the courses within those subjects.
And I you on the Gale Courses marketing materials.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hang on.
I received a box of some materials just now, of like some pens and notepads, and were we expecting that?
No,
Oh. Well, we did.
that's awesome.
We give out some stuff today while we have it.
That's awesome.
I'll pass some stuff out to people.
So, Heidi, I'm guessing Ann didn't hear me. So I'll pass it to her. The idea of like being able to do, can you print like a,
Can you hear Rachel?
can you hear me, Ann? Should I come up?
Yeah, speak loud. Use your teacher voice.
Use my teacher voice. Use my actor voice. So we were discussing having a poster that is a little more thorough with the type of courses, but instead of 375, maybe subjects and then some examples under each subject, so it's a really readable kind of thing. And things that can be scaled up, so it's printed on a larger piece of paper than like 8.5 by 11.
Yeah.
Like a legal size, or do you have access even bigger?
Yeah.
Okay, so and then it could be printed large, and then so you have some room to have more courses listed. But the
So
order.
what I would do to make that work is right now this is based on an 8.5 by 11.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would make an 11 by 17 because that's a standard printer size that we can print out at our libraries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because John was and Gale Courses was very generous, and they printed off our flyers using a professional printer for us. But that might not be a possibility for the larger sizes for us.
Okay.
But yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about in the delivery of new things. You know, send me your ideas, and I'll make more cool stuff if it works for your library.
Okay. Thanks again.
Yeah.
I mean, to, you know, just be like.
So that's all I have for you, Jamie. Did you have anything else that I missed, or?
I don't think so. Any other questions for Ann? Or for me while we're still here? So people can start right now going around and like John said, there are courses that start tomorrow. So we could enroll in some already. So I would encourage, if you have staff members who've been talking about it, who are interested, that might be a good idea to let them know that they can, just to get used to the class format if they're interested.
One other thing, you've got usually a couple weeks to register, so when the 17th comes and goes, you've usually got a couple more weeks that you can still get into that course. But you have to get into those first two lessons right
13
away.
days.
No, immediately.
Oh, immediately.
If you're
late.
wait too long.
If you're late,
Yeah.
okay. No.
So patrons need an email address though, right? So they might be able to use like our phone number and addresses, but they have to have their own email address. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Just a reminder.
Are there any questions online?
Well, any like naughty patrons be blocked, like people that don't do any fines or anything like that, or is it just-
Will any naughty patrons be blocked?
So, okay, so like PC Cop, Time It, what's the new one, Pharos, all those computer timing softwares check against the Sierra or Innovative patron notes on their records. So if there's a block, they can't log on to the computers. Gale Courses does not do that. All they want to know is if you have a library card. So no one that holds a library card has to, none of their blocks apply, even if they have like $400 worth of fines, just from the way the barcode is verified. It does not check against their blocks.
You just won't tell them.
So who has a birthday soon? I know, and it's today.
Is it
Oh,
today?
yeah.
Thursday. Mine's Thursday.
Thursday.
So who has a birthday coming up in October? Any October birthdays? November? December? Seriously?
It must be spring.
January? You don't count. Or you count. February? All right, so you get a power, Allison will get a 78 power bank. Yeah, just give away a power bank that they sent us. All right, any other questions for Anne or for us or?
We had a November 16th.
Well, they're not here though. You're not here. All right, we'll send you some other stuff.
Hey, Ann, are you working all day today?
Yes.
Oh, when I get back to the library, this is Candace. Can you call me this afternoon, please?
I can.
Thank you so much. I won't be back till probably about 2:33.
Okay.
So, Anne, you said if people want a change on their poster, when should they get those to you by? Because you want to get those out by Friday?
Yeah, if you don't like what you see, let me know as soon as you can because I want to start printing these off on nice paper. I'm only going to send one so you can just see what it looks like. And it's really just, it's going to be, again, one of those reminders that just shows up in Courier to you. So you're like, oh, yes, I should start preparing for Gale Courses and put it on my website and share it on. Okay, so that's a little overwhelming, but you get the idea.
John, does what a lot of what Anne did, does that seem
Yeah, it's great.
good?
Fantastic.
Not good, but like comparable.
It should be very engaging. And
Good.
I think your patrons are
Good.
hearing about it and then getting into the courses.
Good. Have you heard any library success with like having flyers or something at the front desk as people were using like
Yeah.
talking about it?
Yep.
If they at checkout.
At front desk, in certain sections of the library where there's maybe DIY stuff, during programs if it's related, if there's a particular course that's
Right, and any
related.
adult programs, especially if something's coming up or it's timely, like if you're doing something on gardening and
That's right.
it's in the summer and
When the Friends of the Library, I run the social media for the Friends, when we purchased Gale Courses on behalf of the library, every January I would do digital photography and other gadgets that people might have got from the holidays. And,
that's a great idea.
and then there's a speed reading course. I can't remember the theme I applied that to, but it had something to do, maybe it was National Library Week or something. I can't remember. It was something to do with reading. So we promoted it that way.
Running courses at the course level
That's right.
with related things going on.
Right,
That's a cool idea.
right. So, I mean, I think that we run into this a little bit where, like we use the word in like databases. So like, we know what databases mean, but some people in our customer base or our patrons are just like, what is a database? But if we market it as, learn to speak Spanish, then, so they might even, so there might be some of that additional, I guess, marketing or explaining,
So,
product placement, exactly.
So one example that we could have done if we were live is, it was National Spanish Heritage Month. I put a little note out there. But, we could promote Spanish for medical professionals, speed span, so put all these posts in there throughout the month if it's applicable to the national month. Children's book month is November, so maybe there's some children's writing courses. We saw the children's writing course in there. We could promote that.
Like if there's a workshop or webinar going on and I think certain people should attend, I won't just send I'll do that too. I won't, besides just sending out a mass general email, I'll call people or like, hey, like this, you were asking about this a year ago. You asked about this, so we're having this workshop, doing a little bit more of that specific stuff. Because things get lost.
There's some genealogy as well. So,
yeah. So the final piece I have is just a short evaluation because this is a continuing education program, and I will be sending out. So those of you online will be also getting an online evaluation. If you could fill that out, that would be awesome. And then I will also make sure you all get an activity sheet for certification purposes. But anything else, Anne, that you want to mention before we close today, or anything from John?
I do. So just remember the link is live now, and you can get there from our website. And I'm going to show you that again, because I learn best just by doing. So maybe there's others up. So you go to Member Services, find Gale Courses. You can get there by clicking on the image or clicking on the direct link to Gale Courses. And remember, November 1st is the official launch, but it's live now, so you go in there and putz around and enroll for courses.
So Jenny asked about, can she put it on Facebook like that it's
coming soon?
Should we be saying it's live now? Does it matter? We can say it's live now, or should we wait until like the November?
Well, this I would say coming November 1st, because right now this time period is a gift from Gale Courses for our staff to learn biology.
Right.
So
That's a good idea. Right. So we're not necessarily promoting that it's live to our patrons right now. This time is for you and your staff to practice.
Yeah.
And remember, to start tomorrow, so if there's anything
Right. Right.
But our official subscription starts on November 1st, so we're going to honor that.
Yes.
But before we go, I do want to mention that on November 1st, after the VCAT meeting, we're going to have an Adult Services Summit where WVLS is going to provide lunch, and we're going to talk about programs and services for adults in our libraries. And Kara from Neilsville, Kara Hart from Neilsville, is going to be talking about the programs that Neilsville does. And so are Chad Dolly and Julie Kinney from upstairs at MCPL. They're going to be talking about the programs that they have. But the biggest discussion is going to be, everybody's going to walk away with program ideas, people that you could partner with in your community, people that you might not have thought about, and also the free delicious lunch that you might get cookies out of if I don't eat them all before I get there. So I sent that in an email, so keep an eye out on that.
All right. And you can leave your email on the table or bring it up to the table or wherever you're going. So, but otherwise, John is still here. If you have questions for him, we'll be here. And thank you for coming. And we're here if you have questions along the way.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Anne. Go Gale. Go Brewers.